All right, what's going on, everyone out there on YouTube? NES Ruler. Welcome to a brand new review, and this time around, we'll be checking out a film that was sent to me review by Warner Brothers, and you can pick this up on 4K at all your favorite online retailers. It is a film from the year 1973. It's highly regarded as one of the greatest horror films ever made, and one of the most culturally important horror films ever made. And of course, I'm talking about The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin, of course. So, my history with this film has been brought up a lot of times on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast, because I've gone on the record to say that I actually prefer The Exorcist 3 to this film. And now that I've watched both these movies semi back-to-back, I think my opinion kind of holds on that. And I don't think The Exorcist is anywhere near a poor film, a bad film. It's actually a really fantastic, amazing film. It's just one that it's never really done anything for me personally. Now, watching it this time around, it's about the 6th, 7th time I've watched it. I've tried to go into it once again with an open mind and see if I have a different opinion on it. And watching it this time around, I think, again, the film starts really strong with the way that it does and how it plays out with the subtext, obviously, of science and religion, and always trying to push religion to the side and answering it with science. That's the huge message of this film, is the battle between science and religion. In particular, Reagan trying to put a medical reason to why she's acting like this. And this time around, I tried to watch the film with a perspective in that, to try and watch it with a objective mindset, to say, oh, this is kind of interesting, the way that it's having a subtext between religion and science. And as I was watching it, I got a new appreciation for the film. Is it still a film that isn't my favorite? Yes, I do say that, but I do appreciate it, what it did for the genre, and how it pretty much made horror films mainstream for that little bit in the early 1970s. And you talk about anybody from that time period, and you could bring up The Exorcist, and they'll probably say that it creeped the hell out of them when it came out in the 70s. And of course, the lines were around the block when this movie came in, because there's really nothing like it mainstream-wise at the time. So if you don't know about The Exorcist, which is weird, but you should know about it, but if you don't, we follow a mother and her child, Reagan. The mother is a famous actress, and one day, out of the blue, Reagan starts to act out of character. She starts to curse and behave in a not-so-polite manner. And of course, she takes her to the doctor to try to find a medical reason behind this. They do a bunch of horrific MRIs and things like that. Early medical technology was quite scary. I'm happy that we live in the period that we live, because that stuff looks absolutely horrific, the things that they do to Reagan in this movie to try to find an answer to this problem. But as the film progresses, she becomes way worse, and the mother decides to go and talk to the church about getting an exorcism. And that's where the third act progresses to where we get to, probably the most famous part of this movie, is where the two priests perform the exorcism on Reagan. And, that's where the film mainly gets a lot of its praise, because the way that scene is shot is absolutely amazing. Linda Blair, who, again, I've talked about meeting a couple times on the podcast, and how she is quite a character. She really does an amazing job in this movie. Her being so young and having to be put through what she is being put through in this film, I give her credit in that sense of the term, because she really does an absolutely amazing job. She really is the highlight of this film, and I can't really give her enough credit for the performance that she gives in this film. But everybody does a really great performance. This is a Hollywood film, a lot of money behind it, a lot of well-known actors, so everybody does a really great job. But like I said, I kind of just got a lot more out of The Exorcist 3 than I did with this film, but I still think that It is one that everybody should watch if you guys are a horror fan. I'm going to assume everybody has already watched this if you're watching this video and are a horror fan in general. But this is a brand new 4K release from Warner Brothers. Of course, everybody has been talking about this artwork here on the slipcover. Again, controversial that it doesn't have the original cover art, but I'll leave that to your own personal opinion. And then on the keep case is the same, and you just get the Blu-ray. If you pause it and steal the code, good for you. I don't care. But again, just like a lot of these Warner Brother catalog titles, no Blu-ray special feature disc on this release, or no real special features at all on this release. You just have a couple commentary tracks, and that's it. So again, if you're into special features, you're probably going to want to keep your old releases because this doesn't have any of that on there. Again, I don't know why Warner Brothers does that, but that's just the way it is with these 4K catalog titles. Transfer-wise, it's good. It's a good transfer. Is it the best transfer? No. Some of the color correction on this, I feel like it's a bit off. This movie's a very blue film, very red, yellow, cool color kind of film. So I was kind of expecting a little bit more out of the transfer, but it's definitely the best that the film has ever looked, obviously. But if you're a fan of, natural grain and studios not messing a lot with the color correction, you're probably not going to be the biggest fan with this because there is a little bit on there. But again, very much like Enter the Dragon, the highlight of this release is the brand new Dolby Atmos track. Sounds absolutely amazing, particularly in the end of the film during the exorcism scene. I'm going to keep on saying that. The exorcism scene. This is absolutely amazing. The way that the soundtrack plays through all 11 channels sounds really, really fantastic. Again, if anything that has come out of these Warner Brothers 4K releases of these catalog titles, the soundtracks, these new remixed Dolby Atmos soundtracks are really, really fantastic. If you're wondering, this has two 4Ks, one with the theatrical cut and one with the director's cut. Director's cut's about 10 minutes longer. That's the cut I watch. I usually watch director's cuts when I watch any of these films because that is the way the director wants you to see it. Is it the better version? Sometimes, but that's just the version I always watch. But if you're wondering, yes, this does have 2 discs, 4K for each, the theatrical and the director's cut. So overall, The Exorcist, still a classic film. I'm going to keep on watching it over and over again, hoping that I enjoy it more. But I still think that it is still one of the greatest horror films ever made, just from a cultural and film, status. I really do feel like, there will probably never be another movie like The Exorcist. The Blair Witch Project and this film, are the 2 big movies that really made an impact in pop culture. You could probably say that a little bit with Paranormal Activity, but those 2 films in particular are super important to the history of the genre. So I always appreciate The Exorcist for that. And now you can see it in this brand new 4K transfer with awesome Dolby Atmos from Warner Brothers. So that's my review of The Exorcist. If you guys like this review, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESRoad22. Hope everybody's doing well, and I should talk to you guys soon. See you guys.